You're about to see 3 of the creepiest paranormal photos ever. First up, the infamous Martinez photo. When you first look at this picture, it just looks like a happy couple posing for a photo at some sort of celebration. But it's so much darker than that. Do you see it? Joe had been dealing with addiction and had been hiding it from those closest to him. Joe said it was driving him mad. One day, he and his wife Patty attended his in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary and posed for a photograph. The couple got the photo back and stuck it in a photo album. And it wasn't until 8 years later they looked closer at the picture and were horrified. A sinister dog-like entity can be seen peering from behind Joe's shoulder. Now, there were no dogs or animals at this party. No one reported any guests dressing up in any kind of mask. Joe and Patty are convinced that this creature is demonic, and Joe took it as a sign he needed to face his addiction, saying there is good and evil in life. Quote, Patty being good on one side of him, and this demonic entity on the other side of him, being this evil. A photo expert of over 20 years named John Davenport said to him, the photo looks authentic, doesn't appear to be doctored or altered in any way, specifically saying the grain is all the same throughout the photograph, and there isn't any evidence of the picture being double printed. This photo really pushed Joe to change his ways. He overcame his addiction and says he carries the photo in his wallet to remind himself of his darker times. This photo is an example of an unseen entity appearing in a photograph, but not spotted by anyone at the time. This entity was stalking Joe Martinez everywhere he went. Many have studied this photograph trying to figure out who or what it is. But to this day, this photo remains pretty mysterious. But I gotta know, what are your thoughts on this photo? Next, the people in the floor. A little village in Spain has been the center of some pretty strange and unexplained activity. In August 1971, Maria Gomez Camara said she noticed an odd-looking stain on her concrete kitchen floor. Over the next couple days, the stain formed into what appeared to be a face. And if that isn't frightening enough, she claimed it was changing positions. Maria got down and scrubbed the stain in hopes of removing it, but this didn't work. The face didn't go anywhere. Then Maria's husband Juan and their son took an axe to the face, laying new concrete down afterwards. They thought this would solve their problems. But the faces came back. Horrifyingly, a few days later, another face formed on the floor. The mayor of the town learned of this, and the floor concrete was cut out and taken into study. And get this, 2 weeks later, more faces began to appear in the floor. This is some scary stuff. These faces different than the ones before. One report stated that the family's home was built on top of a cemetery, and there was something paranormal going on here. They became known as the Faces of Belmez, and over time, various other faces have supposedly appeared and disappeared at irregular intervals since 1971, and have been frequently photographed by local newspapers and visitors. Many residents believe the faces were not made by a human hand, but some skeptics believe this was all a hoax, saying the family did this for financial gain and they used some kind of paint or chemical agent to make these faces. Ghost faces in the floor? What next? They do say a lot of homes and buildings are actually built over cemeteries, so this doesn't sound that far off to me actually. But I gotta know, what do you make of all this? Do you believe this is paranormal, like so many residents of the town? Let me know in the comments. Our next photo, the unexpected roommate. A few years back, a woman had just moved into a new apartment in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. While unpacking, one of her dogs jumped up on this chair. She thought it was cute, so she snapped a pic. She updated her friends about the move, sending them the photograph, and really didn't think much of it until one of these friends asked her, "Who's standing in your hallway?" This woman said she was home alone with the doors and windows locked. Looks like she's got a roommate with a staring problem. Many believe it looks like an elderly woman in a nightgown. And looking at the picture, it appears her other dog notices the figure, which is all the more convincing to me because animals know what's up. Given the location, Charleston, South Carolina, I think it's safe to say that this woman is not alone in her new apartment. Charleston is one of the most haunted cities in America. I would have no problem packing all my stuff up and getting out of there, unless she was cool. Who knows, maybe she would have been a cool ghost, but unless she's paying rent. I don't know about that. What about you? What would you do if you moved into a new apartment and found out that you were living with a ghost? I appreciate you subscribing to this channel, sharing Avery After Dark with your friends, family, coworkers. Until next time, stay spooky, my friends.